Hey, what's going on, Flight Simmers? My name is Rowan, and today we have more FlyByWire A380 news coming to you today. Now, these last 2 weeks have been very exciting from FlyByWire, because we have had months upon months of silence from the A380 project. And now all of a sudden they are starting to pump out loads of screenshots, which is very exciting. So today we do have 3 screenshots, which I'm going to quickly break down for you. Now, before we do look into the screenshots, I just quickly want to mention that they are not displaying any of the systems and they are in-sim screenshots. I think the main reason why they are releasing the screenshots to show the level of quality from their modelling and texturing teams. I'm sure at some point soon we will start to get some news on the actual systems itself, but at the moment it is very clear that they're not confident in displaying them at this time. So let's look at this first screenshot, and it is showing the first officer's side of the retractable window and the integrated electronic flight bag. Now nothing is displaying on the screens because they're not showing their system, so let's look at the modelling and texturing. And I really have to say, they're really starting to set a new standard for freeware products. It appears that FlyByWire is going for a very used and not a factory new A380, and that's very clear with all the wear and tear, smudges and marks all across this screenshot. I mean, if we focus on where the retractable window opens, you can see all of the grime and dust just building up in those hotspot areas. And then even looking forward, you can see the paint fading from where pilots may be resting their hands on the window frame. I can't lie to you guys, this is just absolutely amazing and just astonishing to see the level of detail going inside of this freeware project, and I really just have to say well done to FlyByWire for getting this far. Moving on to the next screenshot, we do move to the lower pedestal, and with this screenshot I believe they're just trying to show off the level of detail in the modelling of the different types of switches, as it is so easy just to copy and paste certain knobs and switches. But instead they are individually modelling each one and texturing each one depending on the hotspot areas to ensure that it looks as realistic as possible. Now this can be very clearly seen at the bottom portion of this image, looking at the up and down arrows and then comparing them to the voice or ATT buttons. There are clearly 2 different types of texturing on these buttons depending on them being on hotspot areas. And when I mean hotspot areas, I mean frequently in contact with a human or another object. And then finally we can actually look at the base layer texturing for some of the larger buttons or knobs, like the spoiler or flaps levers. You can actually individually see the grains of the textures on these levers, which is just absolutely crazy level of detail, especially coming from a freeware product. Now I'm going to be saying this a lot, saying that it's going to be absolutely crazy for a freeware product, but honestly I think that we've gotten so used to the FlyByWire producing such a high quality product that we've completely forgotten about where the standards were before FlyByWire in comparison to where they are now. Now moving on to the final image, we have a top down or bird's eye view of the lower pedestal showing off the thrust levers, the keyboard and numpad and mouse for the McDo, and also your navigational radios and TCAS area. And like before, the level of detail is just ridiculously crazy. Now I think we can start to see the PBR texturing starting to show off, especially on the mouse pads for the McDo. See the reflections of light on the curvature of the plastic, which has been very clearly modelled on the lower pedestal from the floodlight on top, is just ridiculously crazy, and even then you can see an outline of where the source of light has come from, that being the bar of light from the floodlight above. Now although there isn't really much more to say regarding the progress of the A380, but what I can say is that the modelling and texturing side of the A380 cockpit seems to be well and truly at least 80% complete. Now by all means things are going to change by the time we get our hands on the product, but I can say that this will be pretty darn close to what we will expect to see when we get our hands on the A380. There is still no timeline for the A380, I believe they're still aiming for a 2023 release. If not later, but at the end of the day it is a freeware project. They are doing it in their spare time, meaning that they are not obligated to release this as soon as possible. And knowing the FlyByWire team, they want to make sure that it is at a very high quality and a good standard before we even get our hands on it, so that there is not a repeat of a Mad Dog where you are requiring multiple updates just to get it at a decent standard. Now that's it guys, I know that this has been quite a quick video and there isn't actually that much to look at, but really it's more of breaking down what they have provided, because you don't need a full paragraph of text to tell you how much work has changed. A few images can really break down what exactly is happening behind the scenes. But I'm gonna have to wrap up this video now guys. If you did enjoy it, make sure you do click on that like, subscribe and ding on that notification bell. And if you want to get more involved, join our Discord server, the links are in the description. My name has been Rowan and you have been watching Information Alpha.